Hello, my name is Blair. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I guess I can start to say that. Isn't that exciting? Today we're doing another of my series I started a couple of weeks ago called Reading Books I Should Have Read Years Ago, or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what I called it. Something like that. And we're on to the next one, and it is The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides? Let me know. I've never known how to pronounce his last name. But we're reading The Virgin Suicides. I have seen this book everywhere since about 2002 when it came out. Never read it. Again, no excuse. But I have already started it. I'm at chapter 3. Because I wanted to get a taste of it, because my last video put me in a bit of a reading slump, well, my one before that, and I wanted to get a taste of it. So I read a chapter at my book club, then read another chapter this morning, and I think we're good to go. It is very compelling writing so far. This is a fiction story following over 2 years, following 5 sisters that all commit suicide. And it's told in the perception of teenage boys that become unreasonably obsessed with these girls. In fact, I think everyone in this book so far in the chapters I've read is unreasonably obsessed with these 5 sisters. So it's a heavy topic, but I'm enjoying it so far. I thought it would feel heavier reading it, but it doesn't. The writing is so compelling, so nicely written. I think I'm thoroughly going to enjoy this. So follow me today as I read The Virgin Suicides for the first time. It's going to be good, I think. Hopefully this will get me out of my reading slump and I can continue to flourish with all my books. But let's get into it. But first I need to make a coffee. Because reading is illegal without a hot drink, right? There's obviously a lot of tragedy in this and the way things are described, but also it doesn't feel like heavy reading it, which I really appreciate because I hate it when things just read like trauma porn. So this is looking really promising. We have been joined by Rocky. Oh, baby. The obsession these dudes have with these girls is so unsettling. Stuff will be said at the most inappropriate time. I feel you're meant to feel that way though. Something I really don't like in books, I know this is completely like a personal thing, but it's long chapters. It doesn't keep it flowing for me. Like this is one whole chapter, so that's page 44 to 136. That's really annoying. Anyone else dislike long chapters? Because I was just like, next chapter I'll just have a quick break. But apparently I've got ages. Anyway, I'll continue. The decline of the dad is really sad. Honestly, the boys in this treat these girls like they're some magical puzzle box that they absolutely must understand. I would be so irritated if people were looking at me like I was some mystical beast that I don't know where I'm going with this, but they're obsessed. The term smell my fingers after a sexual encounter should be illegal. It should be illegal. Crimes. I am hating some of the descriptions when it comes to anything sexual. Like, I know the narration is a teenage boy, but my God. On that note, I'm going to have a break because I'm starving. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say that that's, like, gross. Yeah. I've had lunch. I've put on a cozy, fluffy jumper because it's chilly. And now we're going to continue. I have had some thoughts as I was eating. I'm suspecting it's not going to be a 5 stars. I know I have predictions it could be, but I find the writing sometimes... I know I said it was, like, really nice, and it's sometimes going on a bit about stuff that is just, like, that definitely just could have been cut out, and the experience would have been, if anything, more flowy. Instead of, like, why are you telling me all this? This is boring. Move on. So we'll see. I'm only, like, this far through. So... let's continue. Why are these boys interviewing people about these girls? Like, will that tie up at the end? So I've just found out the guy whose, like, perspective this is, or the guys, are now, like, middle-aged and that's where they're, like, doing these interviews about these girls with people who are in their lives. And it's just like, why? Why are you so obsessed? And also, I'm getting a bit bored. It's going on way too much. Like, I'm still in that long chapter. I don't know if it's because of how my brain works, but I need some instant serotonin. And, like, when I have quick chapters, it gives me that. It gives me that keep going thing. But I'm getting bored. And I'm almost halfway through. I so don't care about the backstories of these characters we're never going to hear again. I don't need 3 pages of their life. I just don't. This is about a kiss. He tasted first the grease of her chapstick, then the sad Brussels sprout flavour of her last meal. And past that, the dust of lost afternoons and the salt of tear ducts. Please. Please. That bit was just a bit ridiculous for me. I couldn't take that sentence seriously. I'm now 60% the way through, and I can tell you that it's now just boring. Yeah. I'm getting pretty bored. It just seems to go on, like, unnecessarily long. And I don't really understand why these guys are so obsessed with having to know everything about these girls when they clearly have a tragic life, and they just seem so objectified and no one gives a shit about them. Oh my god. I know you're meant to feel that way about this book, but mixed with the boring, I don't think I'm feeling it anymore. I mean, obviously I'm going to continue. I haven't got that much left, and I want to, like, rate it fairly. But these are my thoughts right now. I'm going to have a little break and carry on afterwards. Oh my god, we get it. The smell is bad. I don't need an entire page and a half telling me about it. I finished it. And this was such a mid-read for me. Final verdict, it's got to be a 3-star. Anything less than a 3-star would feel wrong, but anything more is just, like, not right. This follows a group of boys, but essentially, like, everyone in the neighbourhood, who are just unreasonably obsessed with these 5 girls that are all suffering deeply. And they are so objectified, and no one's ever looking at the deeper root of their problems. And I guess that's like part of it. But oh, that was infuriating. But that's like the plot. I don't understand why these guys are so obsessed. I don't get it. It's unhealthy, weird behaviour. But whatever. For the sake of the story. I felt I spent like the whole of this just really wanting to know the girls' perspective, like wanting to actually know them, because it's an unreliable narrator in the sense that they don't really know these girls. So therefore we're not really getting that. We're just getting told what they have like imagined about them, essentially. Like they do put these girls on like this pedestal when really they're just sad girls. Like, not sad as in, you're so sad. As in, like, they're actually sad and suffering. But, compelling story, right? It sounds like it, right? It is so boring in parts. Like, modern classic, boring classic. This is going on the boring classic pile. This could have been a novella, and I would have enjoyed it so much more. Like, that would have been... There's too much filler in this. To the point that you're just like, all right, yeah, come on. Like, my eyes shouldn't want to, like, forcefully skip paragraphs. But I felt like that kept happening, and I had to go back and reread it in case there was something meaningful or interesting in that long-ass description of a bug. But there wasn't. So unless my brain's missing loads of symbolism, maybe this is one of those books that is like, people love to over-explain it and delve deep into the meanings behind it, the deeper meanings, the metaphors. And I'm like, it was boring. The idea of having 5 sisters that end their lives and following that was interesting. That's an interesting story idea. But the execution was just kept going on. So this episode of reading books I should have read years ago, I could have done without this one. My last 2 were a success, but this one I really could have done without. I'm glad I picked this up with a birthday voucher at Waterstones and didn't actually pay my money for it, because it's definitely one of those books that I would have been annoyed if I'd paid full price myself. But if I'd found it at a second-hand store, it would have been fine, you know? And it's a very generous 3 on my behalf, because I'm trying to rate it objectively. Like, it's objectively not a bad book. There's just parts in there that aren't for me. The writing is, yeah, it's not compelling. Like, it was at the beginning, but that was quickly lost. What else can I say about this? Because I had so many thoughts. I think that's all I want to say about it, to be honest, because it was quite a dull read. I'll just keep saying that. I think it's disappointment, because this is fairly highly rated. I mean, mixed reviews I've seen, but majority people like this book. I think it's pretty forgettable. Like, it's a modern classic, but I think it's pretty forgettable. I know there's a film, but I haven't ever seen it, I don't think. Well, if I had, I probably would have remembered whilst reading this. So thank you if you've stayed and watched this entire reading vlog. That's really nice of you. Thank you. I'm enjoying doing this series of reading books I should have read years ago, because the first 2 were wins. This was mid, but at least it wasn't terrible. I know I talk about it yeah. I'm just over dramatic. It was a 3-star. It's a mid-range book. But yeah, if you like this video, consider leaving a like or a comment and maybe even subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.